Alright guys, here we are. The Tcg Banlist is actually here. We have had it a long time. The Tcg is in shambles. Everyone is talking about this. Everyone wants this list. Everyone wants this fire format, the Snake Eyes format that has been around for so long to finally end. And we can already see some crazy changes here. Oh yeah, okay. Let's jump right in. I just want to see this. So let's jump right in, guys. It's so cool. Forbidden and limited list. Oh, there's Appaloosa. I just lost 10 euros because I had a bet with a friend of my team who said Appaloosa will be banned. Here's Fiendsmith, Lacrima, so the Fiendsmith engine, the Snake Eyes Fiendsmith engine getting hit here, Lacrima getting hit. The question is, does this mean that we cannot no longer use the engine? We can also see Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal, is now forbidden, which definitely makes the Fiendsmith engine worse in general. So Beatrice was able to basically, in every deck, I showed you this over the past few days, was basically able to in every deck send the starter, whether it is the Snake Eyes Ash or one of the starters in the Memento deck, or you could also use it for Yugioh, for the Samsara the Lotus. So this won't longer be possible, and then Fiends with Lacrima being gone is definitely a problem. This means, or a problem for the engine that is, this basically means that the engine, I guess, will still be played, but you will just use it to make not a Beatrice, maybe you make a DD Wave King High Caesar for 2 special summon negates, or you might just make the Fiendsmith negate guy, the Fiendsmith Desiree, because the Lacrima obviously gives you this level 6 body, and then the Fiendsmith gives you another level 6 body, which you can then use to overlay. This still works, because if you start with your Fiendsmith Engraver, then you will get a Fiendsmith Engraver on the field, as well as a second Fiendsmith Engraver, which in theory, if you don't go into the Link 2, you can still overlay for DD Wave King High Caesar, but what you can't do is make the Link 2 Fusion Summon Lacrima, revive the Fiendsmith Engraver, and then overlay, which means you will have one less Link 2 body. This is definitely something hurting Snake Eyes. Then again, we will also get this new support in the Azamina cards in the upcoming pack, but definitely a hit for Snake Eyes, especially this Appaloosa thing, as well as the deck was pretty reliably ending on Appaloosa. Bow of the Goddesses will be in effect from the 2nd of September, by the way. So this is definitely already a very hard hit for Snake Eyes. I really like this. We have talked about this when it comes to a Master Duel. We have talked about the new Raziel archetype from the OCG, where I really appreciate when decks end on their own archetypes, boss monsters, and not on these general ones like the Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. So I think this is very nice. We have the Baron de Fleur already forbidden, as well as the Borrowed Savage Dragon. So yeah, definitely a big hit for Fiendsmith Snake Eyes, but also for Fiendsmith Yugioh. I am really surprised. I didn't expect them to hit the Fiendsmith engine, but I think they also did it in a nice way, kind of, because they hit the Lacrima, which was a common, as the Fiendsmith Engraver was a secret rare. Then we have Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity being forbidden. We also have this in Master Duel. This is obviously because of the Centurion using it. Now Centurion will definitely drop in price, because in the TCG it was strong because they could make Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity effectively, which basically is a turn skip, right? It says your opponent can no longer activate card effects. So this is basically a turn skip, which is obviously very impactful. So I'm not quite sure why we're heading Centurion, not so impactful, not a lot of people playing it, but then again, a card that basically says skip the turn is very boring, so I definitely like the change here. So yeah, very interesting here, Lacrima, Beatrice, and Appaloosa. So we will definitely see some changes concerning the Snake Eye stuff here. I think the next big interesting thing is what is going to happen to Tenpai Dragon, because this will be the next big thing after this. So let's see what is here in the limited list, and we can see even more. Wow, the hits are there's Sung Summoning. Okay, so we have Eva. What is Eva? This is the Eva from this one, right? This is forbidden in the TCG, and it comes back now. Okay, so we will now be able in the TCG to more effectively play Drytron. We have Snake Eyes Ash and Snake Eyes Poplar going to 1. I think especially the Snake Eyes Poplar to 1. The Snake Eyes Ash doesn't really matter because you have these other engines. And then again, I guess the Fiendsmith engine being hit here, you don't really have the other engines, but you still have the Azamina stuff that could get you into a Snake Eyes Ash. Snake Eyes Poplar definitely is very effective. You can still make this Ash into Poplar line here, the normal line basically, but Then if you have basically used up your Poplar, you won't be able to do this on the next turn again with the original Sympho spoils in the graveyard. So definitely very strong, definitely a hard hit here. We have number 40 Gimmick Puppet of Strings, as well as number C40 Gimmick Puppet of Dark Strings going to 1. You can let me know in the comments what that means, but I think this means that you can no longer do the Gimmick Puppet FTK, so the first turn kill, because I think that you need these Gimmick Puppet of Strings or Dark Strings. You need them multiple times. If I'm remembering this correctly, I have been killed by this deck once in a tournament. Let me know in the comments if you know this. By the way, if you like my videos, please consider subscribing, hitting the thumbs up and the notification bell. This would mean a lot. Branded Fusion going to 1. Interesting. A lot of people were expecting the hits on the Sanctifier Dragon, as the Sanctifier Dragon wasn't announced to be reprinted in the tins as of right now. That is. Oh, we have also Pot of Prosperity to 1, but Branded Fusion, this is a crazy ban list. This is definitely a crazy ban list. That Grass Looks Greener is back to 1. Okay, let's go it after one another. Branded Fusion to 1, definitely a very, very hard hit for Branded, as Branded in the TCG, if you're not aware and come from Master Duel, is at 3 or was at 3, is at 3 at the moment. You could say Branded Fusion to 1. You can definitely also still get to it. You have a lot of different ways to get to the Branded Fusion, so that's not the biggest hit. But then again, just hard opening a Branded Fusion is actually very nice. Here is the Yubel hit opening of the Spirit Gates. This was one of the most likely ones discussed. So you also know it from Master Duel, opening of the Spirit Gates to 1, which means you will just less likely open this card, have it on the hand. Obviously, you can also still play your Dark Beckoning Beast that can search the opening of the Spirit Gates. So not the hardest hit here, but then again, Yubel was also hit by this here, by the hit on the Fiendsmith engine. And then we have Pot of Prosperity as well as Sanguine Summoning going to 1. I just wanted to say that if we still have Pot of Prosperity at 3, then it's not that big of a deal, because you can still quite effectively get to your Sanguine Summoning. But now we have it at 1 as well as the pot. Then again, we can take a look at the OCG here, and you can just see that it doesn't make the big of difference, because Temper Dragon is here still the second best deck, and they also have a pot at 1 as well as a Sanguine Summoning at 1, and I think we also have Terraforming. So I guess in Master Duel, when this deck comes out and we get a pot at 1 and we get Sanguine Summoning at 1, we will have the worst variant of Temper Dragon, because we don't have Terraforming even. But you basically have the same version as you have it in the OCG right now. And then again, the shifters here, they have 2 shifters. We still in the TCG have 3 shifters. So definitely a hit to Temper Dragon, and one that was necessary, because otherwise I think Temper Dragon would have just overtook the entire metagame. Could still be possible, because if you compare this basically same situation here, the Temper Dragon is here, and then we have the Snake Eye stuff, which is definitely not as hit as it is in the TCG right now. But then again, they also have the Azamina stuff, the new support stuff. So we might, after this ban list, see something like we see here in the OCG, with these 2 decks being the top decks. A lot of people were talking about Fiendsmith Memento, but now with the Fiendsmith cards also being hit, who knows how that will work. And then we have that Grass Looks Greener as well as Skill Drain going to 1. A lot of people were basically begging Konami to put a Skill Drain to 1, and yeah, this is what we have seen over the last few months in any format. All of the Floodgates going to 1 or being forbidden sometimes. I definitely like this, as these cards are not making the game more fun to play. And then that Grass Looks Greener going back to 1, this is really cool, because this enables people to just play 60 card piles. You obviously can also do it without the Grass Looks Greener if you want to do it, but this makes it more effective. We can also see this in Master Duel, where a lot of people playing these 60 piles. I have never resolved that Grass Looks Greener in the TCG, but I think it will be kind of funny counting all of the cards from your deck and then just milling 20 into the graveyard. This is kind of crazy. I really like that Grass comes back to 1. I also think this is okay, because in a 60 deck you will not have that consistent access to this card. So once again here, very hard hit for the Snake Eye stuff. I think honestly, mainly through the hit on the Fiendsmith engine and through Appaloosa here, which is a very important one, because you need to end up on something, right? They ended up on the Baron de Fleur, on the Borrowed Savage Dragon. Now they end up on the Appaloosa. They end up on the IP Masquerena into SP, which Appaloosa now doesn't work. And now you basically only have your IP Masquerena into SP, and obviously stuff like the Promethean Princess and the Fiendsmith boss monster that is still available here. And then we can see what comes back, or what else is going here on the semi-limited. Is there another for the, yeah, okay, unlimited. Okay, a semi-limited blaster, all of the Dragon Rulers going back to 2, I think, and we have have seen this over the course of the last months in Master Duel as well. I don't think this will make the biggest impact here, will not be very impactful. We have Thunder Dragon Colossus going back to 2. We had this at 1. I do not really think this makes a difference. Let me know in the comments. I'm not quite sure. Lunar Light Tiger. This is a card I am not aware of what it even does. Lunar Light Tiger. We can quickly check. Tiger. The Tiger, once per turn you can target one Lunar Light monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but okay, I'm not the biggest man on pendulum cards here, but let me know if this is something big here. And then we have Ip, the World Chalice Justica. I think this was at 1 already, and is now going back to 2, which I also think is not the biggest thing. Yeah, it was at 1 and now it comes back to 2. I don't think this will make a big difference. And then we have in the end here the unlimited part, Armageddon Knight, Red Rose Dragon, Magispectre Unicorn, Kirin. We have Perform Mage Plushfire. There's also this, and I have it here in my let me quickly pull this up in the download section. There's also an errata here with the Plushfire. Before it wasn't once per turn with this effect. This card is on the field, or if this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon one Perform Mage monster from your hand or deck, except this one. You can only use this once per turn. Before it wasn't once per turn, so now it is. So this is why we are getting this back to 3 basically. Ancient Fairy Dragon, it was at 1 before, so not the biggest thing. Time Seal, you skip your opponents next to draw phase. Not quite sure if this is something you would want to play, but maybe there are some combos that I am not aware of here. But I guess if there were some toxic combos, this card would not come back. But let me know in the comments. I think this is very insane, a very interesting ban list that will definitely shake up the meta, especially concerning the 2 most strongest decks, Snake Eyes and Tenpai Dragon. And I definitely think the Snake Eyes hit looks kind of fine. Snake Eyes will still be a strong deck, maybe still be the strongest, but not as strong as it is right now. And there are definitely now other contenders that can close the gap. Very interesting the list here. Let me know in the comments what you think, and we will see each other in the next one.